God's always got your back. God's always got your back. Even when you feel you're at the lowest of lows, even when you feel you got the world against you, even when you feel you're at this darkest phase and place in your life, he's always there residing with you, always there with you. He never leaves you alone. And you might think, well, why has he put me through these tests? Why am I at this point? Why am I at this point where I'm just feeling so negatively low, almost to the point where I feel like I've got these thoughts of ending my life, right? Where I don't think anything is worth it anymore. It's not worth being where I'm being right now. Because literally, I'm at rock bottom. You have to realize that this very pivotal, believe it or not, pivotal point in your life is your turning point, is your biggest turning point. You have to go through those lowest of the lows to be confronted with those shadows, if you like, those vices, those negative thoughts and feelings. Because in that point, you can really start to discover what that voice is, what those thoughts are. And if you hadn't been put in that position, you would never know what is going on. If everything had just been all hunky-dory and you'd be on this straight path, right, with no bumps and bruises along the way, then you'd never really understand what these shadows are that's going on, that's lurking within you. And so you step by step, you go through this discovery phase. You start to question what's going on. You start to question the purpose of life. You start to question the suffering. You start to question everything in your life that's going on. And that questioning allows you to really open up and see what's going on within you. And you'll realize that at a point this is very illusional. It's all an illusion. But how can you realize this very illusion if you never really at a low point? You have to come to that point of realizing that. And so God brings that to you. It brings it to you to the forefront. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But once you remain persistent and resilient to saying, you know what, I'm going through this, and even though I may not understand what's going on for me right now, there's a purpose behind this. That very belief will keep you going. Slowly but surely, you start to meet people on the journey, on your spiritual journey, who kind of give you these pointers, these reminders. They may not necessarily be there to give you that solid advice, but they give you those little pointers and those reminders who help you to remind you who you are and what you're about. My journey has been pretty crazy. I've already shared this story about me 6 years ago losing this very prestigious job that I had. And when I lost it, I lost this part of identity. I thought, hold on a second, this is who I am and you're taking it away from me. So I had this very existential crisis, questioning everything around me. And I suffered deeply. But I can tell you now, 6 years later, that I realized that, hold on a second, this was very important to me. Because if that thing didn't happen, then I wouldn't have been on the journey that I am right now. I wouldn't have been able to question all of these things that's happened. I wouldn't have been able to come out the other side. And it was a very dark period. You know, it was very challenging in every way. In my relationships, in my my professional life, in my personal life. But I was so determined. I was so resilient. I wouldn't have read those books. I wouldn't have had those mentors. I wouldn't have done all the spiritual habits which I really believed helped me to come through. So just realize that if now is a challenging point in your life, it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, you will realize that even though those things challenged you, it never really hurt you in spirit. You were always there. The real self was always there with you. Always there with you. And that is what's worth fighting for. That is worth sticking through, because you'll realize that this is all an illusion. This is just the self-made I that was just going through this. But the actual I that's within you, that's residing with you right now, has overcome all of this. And it was never you anyway. It was never the you who you think you are, this character that you're playing in your life. And when you come out the other side and you are not attached to this I anymore, and you get to see everything in front of you, and you're like, whoa, okay, the things that used to bother me and trigger me don't trigger me as much now. The mental health crises on these, the up and down roller coaster that I've been having in my life don't bother me as much as they once did. And isn't that worth going through? Isn't it worth going through where you realize that the things that used to bother you don't bother you so much now? And now you can live your life going forward a lot more stronger. So whenever any kind of curveballs are thrown at you, whenever anything in life happens to you, because you've been through the refining of the self, if you like, the refining of you, of who you are in actuality, then those things that are coming at you, or that will be coming towards you, that you think are really, really bad, that really make you suffer, don't make you suffer as much now, because you'll realize that you are that innate peace that you always have been, and that it's never left you at all. And that is the biggest discovery that's worth walking 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles. Because you come back to yourself, and God was always there for you. So keep going, my friends. Never give up. Never give up. All right, guys, I'll leave it at that. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Until then, guys, stay strong. Love you. God bless.